The Lower East Side's role in welcoming immigrants didn't end. It continued in the years after World War II. This is a museum of immigration. We tell the story of how Americans came to be a people, and that's a process that continues.
The 103 exhibit will tell the stories of 3 individual families. But more broadly, it's going to tell the story of immigration to New York in the mid-20th century. We've always enjoyed being able to tell the stories of real people, and we found that that connects with visitors. What was limiting us at 97 Orchard was that in 1935, it closed to residents. 103 allows us to extend our narrative and be able to talk about more recent waves of immigrants with the same techniques we've done before.
In December 1945, President Truman signed an emergency declaration that allowed survivors of the death camps into the United States. 2 wound up living here, right in this spot.
This is my apartment. I can't believe it. This could be the mezuzah that we had put up because we never lived without a mezuzah to protect us, which was brave of my parents, considering that they'd always been persecuted because they were Jewish. And no matter what, I always put a mezuzah up in my house, wherever I live, on every room. Wow.
We're looking forward to stitching together these stories through the perspective of the children of the families. Because often the children are extending beyond the neighborhood, beyond the household, and are bringing back some of the broader trends in New York.
Just walking around looking at places, bringing back a lot of memories.
I think what's different about the Lower East Side is that the Puerto Rican migrants were living with Eastern Europeans, Jews, African Americans in really kind of close proximities.
My mother's name was Ramonita Rivera Sayas. She used to do a lot of sewing because that's all she did all her life, sewing, working in factories.
When Ramonita comes here, she's employed in the garment industry. It's one of the last remaining industries that is available to skilled and unskilled workers.
My house, there was always music. My mother loved music. Up to the last couple of days here before she passed away, she would be dancing here. She used to take care of me a lot. I have to say it.
My mother came to the United States in 1965. She worked in a factory. She was a seamstress. The work of a seamstress was so hard, so labor intensive. She sacrificed for us how much she worked so that we could be able to have money later on to go to college.
I think the Tenement Museum, the story they tell of the Chinese immigrants in this community is very different than most of the museums across the United States, because it talks about working people's lives and the everyday hardships and sometimes the everyday successes that people have, and I think that's really important.
Contemporary immigration has transformed this city. Right now, New York has about 3 million immigrants who are 37% of the population. So it's not just enough to look to the past, but also to understand what's happening today.
There's a larger story here, and it's the story of how the United States once again embraced an inclusive sense of who we are as a people. Our future lies in our ability to imagine ourselves as a nation that draws the world's ambitious, that allows them to build lives and communities, and indeed to build a nation in this country.